I wasn't live on YouTube. Now I am. Okay, so let's get started here. So for those of you that don't already know what Exam P is like, basically it is the first actuarial exam that most people take. There are 10 actuarial exams that you have to pass in order to be a fully qualified actuary. And to start, you're going to probably take Exam P or Exam FM first. Those are the first two that most people take, and that's why I help people with those exams in the study strategy program. So really that program is just focused around helping people pass the first two exams so that they can learn the foundations, learn what they need to do to actually fully prepare for an exam, and they can get all the information they need and then go ahead and pass those exams, the later exams by themselves, because they'll have gathered the information that they need. So you're going to need probably about 14 weeks to prepare fully for Exam P. That's my recommendation. And that's what it takes for most people, especially if you are working. I know right now maybe some of you aren't working, or maybe you're not in school like you usually would be. Things are a little different right now, but for most people, it does take about 14 weeks to be fully prepared. You can see my cat in the background there. I just happened to notice her on the video there. Okay, so that's my recommendation. We'll go a bit more into that, but on the exam, there are 30 questions. You have to answer them all within 3 hours. So that means you have to be going pretty quickly. Usually you spend no more than 6 minutes on a question, because if you on average spend more than 6 minutes per question, you're not going to have enough time. So not only is the exam very difficult, but you also have to go very fast. Just to give some of you, if you don't already know, some kind of outline of the pass rates for Exam P, the pass rate is about 50%. And that means that for every person that takes the exam, about 50% of those people pass. Now, a lot of those people are taking the exam for the first time, but there are also many that are taking it for the second or third or fourth time. So even with all those people that have tried the exam beforehand and tried it other times in the past, even combined, all those people are still only passing, or 50% of them are passing. So they are tough. And just in order to pass, you kind of have to get somewhere about around 70% of the questions right. So 70% questions right, and only 50% of people are usually able to do that each time the exam is offered. Now, you can take Exam P every other month. So you could take it in May. Coming up, the next sitting available right now is May. Those exams have not been canceled. The March ones last month were canceled. So everyone that was going to write in May, or was going to write their exam in March, is probably going to take it in May now. So that's the next option. And then July, and it's every other month. So yeah, it's basically every other month you can take Exam P, and there's no limit on how many times you can take it. You can take it as many times as you want, but obviously you want to pass it as soon as possible, because the sooner you can get through these exams, the better. It's just going to be less stressful for you. You'll be able to get jobs sooner. Like the sooner you can pass these first couple exams, the sooner employers will start to show more interest in you. There are other things that you have to do, obviously, to have employers be interested in you, but a lot of them are looking for at least one exam passed, and Exam P would be a good start for that. Okay, so I know that's a lot of information. If you have any questions about anything I've said so far, feel free to put them in the Q&A box right down below. I will get to those. There's one question here already. Okay, so Nicole asks, this is my second career. I have been out of school for a while and haven't taken any math classes in 15 years. Are most of your students actuarial science majors who have recently graduated? Okay, so this is the awesome thing about becoming an actuary. You don't have to major in actuarial science. I worked with people from so many different backgrounds. Some have math backgrounds, some have engineering backgrounds, some have taken environmental courses and stuff. So your bachelor degree doesn't really matter too much. Employers don't really focus too much on what you've majored in school. You do have to have a bachelor's degree because employers won't even consider hiring you if you don't. But the degree doesn't really matter, like what you major in. So obviously things like math and actuarial science and statistics, those kind of majors will probably help you on your exam, but it is possible to become an actuary and get a job and all that, even if your background isn't in actuarial science or something related. So yes, I have helped people with very educational backgrounds. It's not an issue at all. If you haven't had any calculus experience or background, if you don't have any calculus background, then usually I have those members go through some calculus review before they actually start their studying for Exam P, because there is a lot of studying, or there is a lot of calculus on Exam P. But other than that, everything's the same. I've helped lots of people in a similar situation to you, even that have been out of school for many years. So, great question. Okay, Ryan asked calculus 1 or 2. Okay, so there's a lot of calculus on Exam P. Usually if you have calculus 1, 2, and 3, then you're in good shape. If you just have 1 and 2, then you'd probably be fine. You'll just have to spend a little bit of time as you're going through the study materials, maybe doing a little bit of calculus learning. So if you just have calculus 1 and 2, that's not an issue at all. It's just that you might have to spend a little more time studying, and that's okay. Like, everyone's different. Everyone's starting at a different starting point, and everyone gets the same endpoint eventually. So yeah, that is perfectly fine. I don't see any questions on YouTube. On YouTube, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat related to what I've been talking about. Cameron asked, how many study hours a day would you recommend roughly with the last 5 weeks before the exam? Okay, so I don't really like to consider how many study hours you're doing. Really, I like to think of it as how well prepared you are. So the number of hours you spend studying isn't a good indication of whether you are ready for the exam or not. What you have to be doing is making sure you're reaching a passing grade on practice exams, and that's what's going to indicate whether you're ready or not. So I personally can't say how many hours you need in a day, even if you have 5 weeks left, because I don't know what you're scoring on exams right now. I just don't know any of that detail. And that's why in the study strategy program, I monitor all this stuff. I'm tracking how everyone is doing in the program so that I can see exactly where they need to focus their time, how much time they need to be spending, what tasks they need to be doing, and all that stuff. So the kind of strategy that I've developed in the study strategy program takes into consideration all these different factors, and it's very individual for each person. So sorry I can't answer that question very well. Okay, so let's get into study materials, okay? So in the study strategy program, I have helped hundreds of people on their journey to passing Exam P. So these are the recommended study materials that I highly recommend you get for Exam P. Okay, so number one, or really this just depends on whether your budget, it depends on your budget and your preferred learning style, basically. So if you are someone that prefers to read the study material, you like to write things down while you're reading through it and highlight things, stuff like that, then you're probably going to want to go with a study manual. And by the way, I forgot to mention at the very end, if you stay till the end of this, I'm going to be giving you an Exam P resource guide that's going to break this all down and just have all the notes that from this course or from this training, so that you'll have everything that I've talked about all in one neat little package that you can take. So you don't have to be writing all this stuff down right now. I'll give that to you at the very end, and that'll have everything you need. So if you prefer to be writing things, highlighting, and everything like that, then you're probably going to want to go with an Exam P manual. So that means that you're reading the material. So my number one recommendation for Exam P manual is the ACTEX study manual. And I put a link in the resource guide to that, so you can go there and find out where to get it. I highly recommend that you purchase a new version or a fairly new version. just because the newest version of ACTEX, it comes with a program called Goal, and that has tons and tons of practice problems that are going to be very beneficial for your studying. You want to do tons of practice questions while you're preparing for an exam. So Goal comes with the newest version of ACTEX. I highly recommend that you don't purchase from someone online. I have Facebook groups, or a Facebook group for exam P. Actually, let me really quickly get that for you so you guys can join if you want. So in this Facebook, we are talking, I post tons of practice problems, all that kind of stuff, but a lot of the time I see people post study materials in there, and really what they've done is they've purchased one and now they're just giving it to a whole bunch of other people, but they're charging for it. Just would not trust sending them money. So do not purchase study materials from people you don't know. But that Facebook group is a really good resource for if you are taking exam P. So I just put that in the chat there for you, and I will put that on YouTube chat as well. So yeah, you want to get it from a reliable source. The Actuarial bookstore is an online store where you can get your ACTEX exam P manual, or yeah, that would be the best place to go, actuarialbookstore.com. Okay, and then if you are the type of person that prefers watching videos and learning math terms and concepts that way, then you're probably going to want to go with the Coaching Actuaries bundle. So the Coaching Actuaries bundle has all the exam P material broken down into videos that you can watch. It also comes with a program very similar to Goal, which is called Adapt, and it has tons of practice problems in there too. So really, it doesn't matter which one of these materials you use. So I've had, like Matt, for example, is a member of my study strategy program. He's passed exam P, FM, and IFM all in the program within the last 24 or so months. He used ACTEX for exam P, passed on his first time. I have Calvin, also a member of the study strategy program, passed on his first time. He used ACTEX. And then there's Mike, another member of the program, passed his first time. He used Coaching Actuaries. So they're both just as good. It's not, the study material is not what is going to make the difference for you. The study material is just something that you do need in order to learn the material that is on the exam and to practice and everything like that. But that is not what's going to make the difference for you. Really, it comes down to study strategy, and I'll talk more about that later. Another difference between the two different study materials that I mentioned is the pricing. So if you're on a lower budget, you might want to go with the ACTEX study manual because it is around $100. So it's much more affordable than the Coaching Actuaries bundle. Coaching Actuaries is about $400 for 6 months, I believe, somewhere in that price range. But there is a student discount that you can get if you are a student. Okay, so let me just summarize all that for you. I know it was a lot of information. If you have any questions about the study materials, just put them in the Q&A box, or if you're on YouTube, put them in the chat. Okay, so quick summary. You should probably get the ACTEX study manual if you want to read the study material. Kelvin, Mike, all members of the study strategy program, they passed their first attempt, but they use different study materials. So really, that's not something that's going to make the huge difference for you. So decide which one is best for you depending on your budget and your preferred learning style. Okay, questions. I already did that one. Okay, I don't see any questions related specifically to the study material. So at the very end, I will, sorry. Okay, make sure you're asking your questions in the Q&A box below because I'm not going to be checking too much in the chat. It's just too hard to keep an eye on both areas. Okay, so I don't see any questions specifically related to the study materials. Carlos has one in the chat that I'll answer. I've already had a lot of materials that I used in university. Do you think it's possible to use that? Okay, so yes, a lot of you do have study materials that you've used in your university courses. And I really advise against using those materials just because they're not specifically geared for Exam P. If they are, if it's the ACTEX manual or the ASM manual or some manual that's specifically designed for Exam P, then it should be fine. But most of the time, the materials that you're using in school are not specifically designed for the exam. That means that they might not have all the material, they might not cover all the material that's on the exam, and they probably don't have practice questions that are very similar to how the real exam will be laid out. So when you're when you're studying for Exam P, it's really important that you do lots and lots of practice questions, and study, and materials from your university most likely won't have those kind of questions to do. So I really do recommend the ACTEX manual and the Coaching Actuaries bundle, either one of those, because they do also come with tons and tons of practice problems. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Carlos. Nicole had a question here. I purchased ACTEX for both Exam P and Exam FM. However, I had to buy the digital copy. COVID has resulted in unreliable shipping. I'm a visual learner. Are there extra video resources aside from Coaching Actuaries? TIA and Cicero also asked about TIA. TIA is short for the Infinite Actuary. It is another option that you can use for studying for Exam P. It has video lessons very similar to how Coaching Actuaries does. The only reason I recommend Coaching Actuaries over TIA is because TIA only has 6 practice exams for Exam P. So there's only 6 exams, and in order to study for Exam P, you need way more exams than that to practice. You can't just do 6 exams and be ready. So that's why I don't highly recommend TIA over Coaching Actuaries. With Coaching Actuaries, it's a DAPT program. It can create unlimited number of exams. So it has tons of practice questions in a database, and it's able to just pull 30 out of that database. So you pretty much have do, whereas TIA just has 6 exams, they're set in stone, and that's all they have. So that's the only reason that I don't really suggest TIA over Coaching Actuaries, but it is another option. It's still just as good. All the material is taught just as well as it is taught in Coaching Actuaries or the ACTEX manual. It's just that it doesn't have the number of practice problems and exams that you really need in order to pass. Okay, I hope that answered your questions. Okay, let's move on to calculators now. And like I said, I'll be giving away all this information in the complete Exam P resource guide that I'll be giving out so don't worry about writing all this down. It will be laid out in there for you so you don't have to worry about anything. And you'll have links to everything. Okay, next is all about calculators. So I highly recommend that you get 2 different calculators for Exam P. Actually, they don't have to be different, but you should have at least 2 calculators. And the reason for that is because if one of your calculators dies when you're in the exam room, there is nothing you can do about it. They will not give you another calculator to use, and you will basically be left there to do all the calculations manually, which takes much longer than you have on the exam. So always bring at least 2 calculators into the exam room. Usually I brought 3 in just because I'm a little bit paranoid, and I also like to have 2 different types of calculators, but you don't have to do that, 2 at least though. When you go into the exam room, they will clear your calculator to default settings. So you always want to make sure that you know how to get from your default settings to the settings that you like to use. That's really important. And they just do that to make sure that no one's cheating, no one's storing some kind of answers or formulas or anything in their calculator. They want to be really sure that everyone has a fair chance at passing the exam with no help from the outside. Okay, so the number one calculator I recommend you get, and there's links to this in the resource guide that I'll give you at the end, is called the TI 30XS Multi-View Calculator. It looks like this, okay? I love this calculator because it shows it shows 4 lines of calculations right there. So you can actually see what you've typed in and verify that all the numbers that you've typed in and the calculations that you did were exactly what you wanted to type in. When you're going fast, really fast on Exam P and trying to put things into your calculator really quickly, it's easy to mess up, but the TI 30XS multi-view calculator makes it really easy for you to see what you're actually typing in and verify that it's correct before you continue on and use the answer that you get. Okay, so, and I didn't mention this before, but any calculator that you bring into the exam room has to be on the SOA's approved calculator list. So there's a link to that list in the resource guide that I'll give you at the end, so that you can check it out. But there's only about 7 or 8 calculators on there that you're actually allowed to bring into the exam room, and this is one of them. Okay, so this is the one that almost everyone will be using on the exam for Exam P, so I highly recommend you get that one. And if you're going to get 2 calculators and bring 3 into the exam room, then this is probably, you'll want to get these and one of the other one that I'm going to show you. Okay, and the second one is called the BA2+. It looks like this. As you can see, it only, oh, I actually think mine is dead. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. So as you can see on this one, maybe you can see that, you can only see one line of code or one line of equations there. You can't see whether you've pressed the plus button or the minus button or the divide. You can't see any of that, and it just shows you one line of equation or number. So I only say to get this one because it's very good for exam FM. You're going to have to get this one for the FM exam, so you may as well just get it and use it as your backup calculator for Exam P. Because this one is a financial calculator, it can do some things that you'll need to be able to do for Exam P. So what I usually recommend is just to get that one as your backup calculator for Exam P, but you'll probably spend most of your time using this first one that I told you about. Calculators, they're really not that expensive. You can go to Amazon. You'll probably spend $50-ish on both to get both of those, maybe 75-ish, somewhere around there. Anyway, definitely invest in those. And if you're bringing in something different into the exam room, make sure it's on the approved list of calculators. Otherwise, they won't let you use it. Okay, if you have any questions about calculators, please let me know. Just so you know, everyone in the study strategy program is purchasing this one for sure. Many of them have this one, especially if they're taking them. But this is a favorite for many people. Okay. Let's take some questions here. If you're on YouTube, I don't see any calculator-related questions there. Okay, on Zoom, I see Shannon has asked, can we bring spare batteries? Shannon, I'm actually not 100% sure about that, but in order to get into this calculator, you'd have to have a screwdriver and do some, you'd have to, yeah, I think you'd just be better off buying yourself another calculator rather than bringing in spare batteries. I'm not sure if you are allowed to do that or not. They would definitely inspect them to make sure that you haven't written anything on there or anything, but really, I would just bring a second calculator because you don't want to risk it. And it would just take too long for you to change the batteries while you're in the exam room. You want to just be able to switch calculators if you need to really quickly, and that would be the easiest way. Okay, I think that's all the calculator-related questions I see. If you do have any other ones, just put them in the Q&A box, so I will get to those. Okay, next we're going to talk about your study strategy. And this is the part I love because really, this is what I believe the difference between passing and failing an exam. It's what I help people with all the time in the study strategy program. Most importantly, for your studying, what I found to be the most important factors in your study strategy are that you have a really good study plan and that you stay on top of that plan and actually follow through with it, study consistently every day, and just keep up with your studying. So you may have watched other trainings similar to this that I've done, and I talk in there about, you can go back on my YouTube channel and stuff too, but the top 3 reasons that people fail their exam, I have a training about that. And one of the reasons is that they don't know how to properly prepare for their exam. And the second one of the other reasons is because they don't fit in enough study time. Okay, so in the study strategy program, I've basically come up with 2 really good ways to combat those 2 issues that most people, almost like so many people, that's the reason that they fail. And the study strategy program kind of makes both of those issues not an issue at all for the members of the program. So let me tell you a bit about that. You can try to implement these into your own study strategy, not being in the study strategy program, but it's really difficult, and you'll understand why once I talk a bit more about them. Okay, so number 1 is that you need to know how to prepare for the exam properly. I do recommend taking some time to go through your study material, do practice problems, and then go into practice exams. That's what we do in the study strategy program. I set up for each individual person, they get their very own whole study strategy. So it will tell them exactly what they need to do every single day of the month from the day they start until exam day. So I'm constantly in there monitoring exactly what how they're doing on different things. I monitor that they're getting things done, and I adjust their schedule accordingly depending on how things are going for them. So if they really need to focus on a certain area, I'll add stuff to their study strategy or their study plan that will allow them to improve on those areas so that they can obviously, so they can get better. And oh no, I think I've disconnected. Sorry if I disconnected. I'm not sure it did for me. Anyway, what was I saying? That basically the study strategy program shows them exactly what they need to do every single day. And we go through like your study materials, we'll go through doing tons of practice problems and practice exams. So if you're doing this on your own, I want you to make sure that you are actually scheduling time for each of these different activities into your own study strategy. You should definitely have a plan for every single day, because you need to know exactly what you're going to do from now until exam day in order to be fully prepared for the exam. So many people and I did this myself, I would just study for the exam when I had time. So if it didn't fit into my schedule, I would just say, okay, I'll study another day. Like I would plan to study at night and I wouldn't get to it, or something would come up and I'd say, okay, I'll study on the weekend. And then the weekend would come and I'd have so much studying I had to get done. I would do an hour or two and not get to everything that I needed to, all that kind of stuff. But instead, what I've decided and what I've seen has really helped members of the study strategy program is to have a plan, so you know exactly ahead of time what you're going to do every single day. So right now, you can join the study strategy program and get this all planned out for you. Like I create a personalized study schedule for you, but you can also go into a calendar and write out exactly what you're going to do every single day from today until your exam. Whenever you do it. Right now, if you're planning to start right now, I would recommend aiming for the July exam period, because that's about 14 weeks away. And 14 weeks, like I said earlier, is a fairly good amount of time to study for your exam. So you'll want to plan exactly what you're going to do every single day from now all the way until your exam in July. And then And that's just going to really solidify the plan for you. It's going to make sure that you're actually going to have enough time to get to all the tasks that you need to get to. Okay, so if you don't have that plan in place already, then, or if you don't get it in place, then what's going to happen is that you're going to just study whenever you can, but it's probably not going to be consistent, and you'll have no idea if you're getting enough studying done each and every day. And you just can't go into an exam like that. You don't want to end up in the last 2 weeks just cramming everything, right? So that's why I really recommend you have a plan so that like breaks down exactly what you're going to do every day, so that you know you're guaranteed to be ready by the time exam day comes around. Okay, so that's step number one. You want to make sure you have a plan. Step number two is actually to make sure you stick to that plan. Like I said, a lot of people, the number two reason that people fail their exam is because they don't fit in enough study time. Okay, so you need to have your plan and you need to make sure you stick to it. Now, in the study strategy program, what we do to make sure that members are actually sticking to their study schedule is that we add accountability check-ins into the program. So twice per week, me or my team, we actually go into each member's schedule and make sure they're on track. Now, this works so well if you're really serious about passing, because you're going someone actually checking in on you, making sure your studying gets done. For many of you, if you're home all day right now, maybe it's a bit hard to actually get your studying in because you just don't feel like doing it. You don't feel motivated and focused, and that's totally understandable. But right now, members of the study strategy program are keeping up with their work because they know someone's expecting them to get that done, and it really gives them that boost of motivation that they need to get their studying done each day. So you have to add accountability into your study strategy, and it's going to make a huge, huge difference. I really say that this kind of overall strategy with having a plan of specific goals to achieve each and every day for your studying, and then adding accountability, it's really designed for someone that is a goal-oriented. So for me, this kind of a strategy works really well because I love to have tasks laid out and then be able to check them off when I'm done. I go through a list, get everything done. And that's because I'm a goal-oriented person. I like to have that kind of achieve and then go achieve it. So that works really well for me. And if that's strategy and a study strategy for you. Okay, so all my questions went away when my kind of webinar rebooted or whatever. So if you have questions, make sure you put them in the Q&A section. Even if you asked them before and I haven't answered them yet, put them back because I can't see them anymore. Okay, so today we talked about the study materials that you need for Exam P. We talked about the calculators that you need for Exam P. We talked about the study strategy and how making sure you have specific goals and accountability in there is really important to help you keep on top of your studying and all that. And really, I think that gives you. And we also talked about the exam, what kind of things to expect and all that. So I think we've really outlined mostly everything you need to know going into the exam, and studying for the exam, and how to achieve this goal of passing your first exam. Okay, so I have a question here. Sam asks, is it recommended for a person who failed Exam P in the first sitting to take Exam FM and then take Exam P afterward? I mean, is there any kind of restriction from the SOA, which is the Society of Actuaries? Okay, so no, the Society of Actuaries does not restrict this. You can take Exam P 1 month and then Exam FM the next month and then Exam P again the next month if you want to. But I highly recommend focus on passing one exam at a time, get that passed, and then move on to the next exam. There's just so much material to know for both of these exams, Exam P and FM, that it's really a distraction. You're trying to spend too much time on both the both these exams if you're trying to study for them at the same time, and it just often doesn't work. So pick one exam, put all your effort and energy towards that one exam, pass it, and then move on to the next exam. That's my recommendation. That's what has worked for members of the study strategy program too. Like I earlier about Matt, a member that passed exam P, FM, and IFM in the study strategy program. Those are the first 3 exams. He passed all of them on his first attempt. So sure, over the 24 months he was passing those exams. He could have tried to pass like 2 of them at the same time. He could have tried that, but he didn't. He focused on one exam, passed it, focused on the next exam, passed it, focused on the next exam, passed it. And that's really the strategy that I recommend that you follow, because it just works so much better than trying to break your time out between both of the 2 exams and your study time. And then all your knowledge in your head, you're trying to remember formulas from one exam and formulas from another exam. It gets all conjumbled in there. So yeah, I would recommend just sticking to one exam at a time. And good question. Okay, next is Annie's question. Is the exam graded as a pass-fail only, or do you receive a grade or score at the end, or if you pass? Okay, good question, Annie. So when you go and take exam P, they're going to give you, if you take a computer-based test, they'll give you your result right away. There's also an option that you can take a paper and pencil exam, which means that basically they'll give you the questions on the paper and you'll answer them on the paper. The computer-based testing is the other option. It's the one that I prefer because you get your exam results right away. Right when you're done, you'll have your results. You'll know whether you passed or failed. And that way you know whether you're going to be able to start studying for the next exam or whether you should start restudying for the same exam. With the computer-based testing, you basically just get your questions on the computer screen. You have a piece of paper in front of you that you can do all your calculations on. And then the exam is multiple choice. I don't think I mentioned that before, but you'll have 5 possible answers that you can select. And so then once you do your calculations and you find your answer on the screen, you'll just click that button and then you'll be able to move on to the next question. So I do highly recommend the computer-based testing. And yes, so with that, you'll get your exam score right, or your exam pass-fail right away. You'll find out whether you pass or fail right away. If you take the paper and pencil exam, they need time to mark it. So it takes about 8 weeks for you to get your result. Okay, so like I was talking about for the computer-based testing, right after the exam, you get your pass or fail. But then about 8 weeks later, you're actually going to get your score. So you'll find out whether you scored anything from a 1, or you might be able to score a 0 actually, a 0 to a 10. That's the grading scores that the SOA uses to grade all the exams. And you have to get a grade of 6 or higher in order to pass. So yeah, they do give out those scores much after you actually take the exam. It takes a while for them to come out and release those scores, but they do get released eventually. And but you'll already know beforehand whether you passed or not if you take the computer-based testing. Now, usually employers don't really care about what your exam score is. They care more that you've passed or pass the exam. And that's what they'll primarily be looking for. Some employers do look at your scores, but I'm not sure how much of an impact that has on whether they hire you or not. Okay, good question. Okay, I'll answer a few more questions here. Then I really want to tell you guys about the study strategy program because they have a really cool thing coming up. It ends today, and I want to make sure you guys know about it before it goes away in the study strategy program. Okay, Shannon asks, at what point should I memorize every formula prior to the July test? Okay, Shannon, I don't recommend memorizing any formulas, okay? The method that I use in the study strategy program, there is not one day on anyone's schedule that says memorize formulas. I never recommend memorizing. I don't have them spend any time on that. You should be doing so many practice problems that the formulas naturally, they come to your mind, you know them because you've done so many formulas and or practice questions. So I really don't recommend memorizing formulas. You should know how, if you do any memorization, it should be in the last week before your exam, just because you haven't used those formulas enough or something, if they're formulas that are very rarely tested. Then in that situation, I can say, yes, you can memorize those, but really you should know how the formulas are derived. You should know what they mean. There really shouldn't be much memorization at all. Okay, Shannon, hope that helps. Okay, so I'm going to quickly tell you guys a little bit about the study strategy program, and then I'll give out that complete exam P resource guide that I promised you, and then I'll take any more questions that you have. So keep putting your questions in the Q&A box. I will get to those. And if you're on YouTube, you can put them in the chat. I do see one question I missed here about calculators. Vivi asked, how do you learn to use both the calculators and all their functions? Okay, so the calculator, this one that I showed you for exam FM, when you go and take exam FM, your study material will probably show you how to use all the functions on this calculator. So you don't really have to worry about that one for exam P. For this calculator, it's actually really pretty self-explanatory, because once you learn what all these functions are, like you'll learn them when you start studying for your exam. You'll learn what these functions are, and then it's pretty self-explanatory to calculate them using this calculator. It's very easy to use. But if you still are having problems, there are lots of YouTube videos that will teach you how to do certain things on this calculator. Sorry, I missed that one earlier. Yay, Real Cody says I'm the best channel on YouTube. Like that, thank you. Okay. Okay, I really want to show you quickly about the study strategy program. Unfortunately, people on YouTube won't be able to see my screen because I don't know how to share a screen on there. But let me tell you a bit more about that first. So the study strategy program, like I said, is my program where I help people pass exam P and exam FM, which are the very first two actuarial exams. Now, when I was studying for my first exam, I really had no idea what I needed to do. I didn't know how I should prepare for the exam. I didn't know what tasks I should be doing. I didn't know how to tell if I was well prepared or not. I really had no idea. So that is one of the main reasons I started the study strategy program, because I knew that was the reason, one of the reasons that I failed the exam the first time around. I failed it, and I knew it was because of this. And I want to make sure that no one else has the same issue as me. I want to make sure that this guidance is available for everyone that wants to take these exams. There are a lot of exams to take, and you want to get them done as quickly as possible, because the quicker you can get them done, the sooner you can be an actuary, the sooner you can start working and making that money that you want, the sooner you can help support your family and all the reasons that you want to be an actuary. Well, the sooner you can pass exams, really, the sooner you can start doing all those things. Okay, so really, number one reason I started the study strategy program was to be able to guide people on how to prepare for their exam. So in the study strategy program, each person gets their very own personalized study schedule. You'll know exactly what you need to do every single day. So you won't feel lost or confused on what to do. I'm always there for you to email me. If you have questions, you can ask them anytime. Basically, I become your mentor once you join the study strategy program, because I don't just help you with your exam. You're free to ask me any actuary related questions you have. I'm happy to give you advice on your career, getting a job, studying for your exams, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so and on top of that, what I really found is helpful for members is the accountability check-ins. And I should have seen this way earlier, but one of the number two reason that I failed exams is because I didn't keep to a schedule. I was so busy. I had school, I had work, I had sports that I was playing. I play soccer like all the time, not right now, but usually I do. So I had soccer and just family. I had a boyfriend, and I was just trying to study for these exams too, and there was just so much going on. And a lot of the time, studying for my exam got put on the back burner because, first of all, no one knew whether I was studying for it or not. It was only me, so I could put it off. And other things became higher priority because I wasn't scheduling studying into my daily calendar, and no one was there to make sure that I did. So I've decided to add accountability check-ins into the study strategy program, and it has made a huge difference for members. Not only do they have the schedule, but they also are able to have that accountability. They have someone there checking on them to give them a reason to get their studying done every single day. Now, if you follow any of my other stuff or have watched any of my other YouTube videos or have read any of my blog posts, or if you get my emails, you are going to know that I promote consistent studying. You can't just cram for an actuarial exam. You have to study a little bit every day. So that's why accountability is such a huge factor in helping people pass their exams, because having accountability doesn't allow them to put it off and just fall behind on studying and stuff like that. So accountability is a really big reason to join the study strategy program if you are someone that thinks that would be beneficial, and if you are someone that is very busy, has other things going on, or if you're finding it hard to stay motivated to study, this can be a really, really helpful feature of the program. On top of that, I told you that there's something ending at the end of the day today. I wanted to let you know. I have a $250 pass guarantee. Okay, so when you go and register for Exam P, there is a $250 exam registration fee that you have to pay to the Society of Actuaries. So my pass guarantee in the study strategy program is that if you don't pass your exam, I will pay your next $250 exam registration fee. So that means when you go and take the exam again, then you won't have to worry about paying that $250 exam registration fee again, because I will pay it for you. That's how confident that I am that the study strategy program will be beneficial for you. It'll give you your absolute best chance of passing. I know that. And it's a really good, I just love having that pass guarantee because it makes sure that you know that I have your best intentions all the time. I want you to pass so badly. So yeah, I do offer that $250 pass guarantee. But in order to get that, you have to be in the program for at least 14 weeks. So that means if you want to take Exam P in July, you have to join by the end of the day today, because there are just about 14 weeks left until the July Exam P sitting. So you'd have to join by the end of the day tonight in order to qualify for the $250 pass guarantee for July. Okay, so that's another huge benefit of the study strategy program. On top of that, we also have group study sessions where everyone in the program gets together, kind of like on a call like this, and they discuss different questions and they help each other. I have an actuary Q&A every month. So it's very similar to this also, but you can come there, ask me any actuary-related questions that you have. Like I said, it's not just about passing your exam, but this is about me being your mentor, helping you through this whole actuarial journey that you're on. So in that Q&A session, you can ask about your career, resume, anything like that. And what else is in there? There's a Q&A forum. If you get stuck on any math problems, we can get those answered for you. And actually, I'm also doing 8 weeks of live Excel and VBA training right now too, just for members of the study strategy program. So when I was working as an actuary, I used Excel almost every single day. It's such a valuable and important tool for aspiring actuaries to know how to use. So I'm actually doing a whole 8 weeks of training just for members of the study strategy program right now on Excel, and also on VBA, which is a programming language that you can use to automate tasks in Excel. The first session was last week, but that's actually available in the study strategy program right now. So you can go ahead, watch that video if you decide to join, and then you can join in on our second session, which is tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to put a link to the study strategy program inside the chat. So you can go check that out if you're interested. Even if you're planning to write your exam in May, or if you're planning to take it after July, I highly recommend joining just because I know it will give you the best possible chance of passing. But I do want to make sure that you know that if you're planning to take the exam in July, today is the last day to join if you want to qualify for that $250 pass guarantee. Okay, oh, there is a lot of comments on YouTube. Sorry, I can't see those all right now. I will put a link in YouTube to the study strategy program. Okay. So yeah, in the study strategy program, you can choose to work with me for 6 months. So you can purchase the 6-month bundle, and that gives you actually 1 month in the program free. So you'd actually be only paying for 5 months, and you'd be getting your 6th month for free. Okay, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Right now, I am here to answer your questions about the study strategy program. So do not hesitate. No questions too big or too small. I'd absolutely love to have you join. And if it's just 1 or 2 questions that's preventing you from joining, I'm here to answer them. So please don't let that be the reason that you don't join, just because you have a question that was unanswered. No, ask it. I want to make sure that you have all the details that you need. And I will, if you have questions that are non-related to the study strategy program, I will still answer those. I just want to make sure that I answer any questions that people have about the program. Okay, so Ryan asks, if 14 weeks is required for exam P and FM, how much would be required for exam FM? So if you're talking about the study strategy program, you have to be in the study strategy program for at least 14 weeks in order to qualify for the pass guarantee for exam P and FM. If you're interested in exam IFM, you have to be in the program for at least 18 weeks, and there's a $350 pass guarantee for IFM because that exam is more expensive to take. Hopefully that answers your question, Ryan. If you are interested, you can just join on the same page that I linked to in the chat, and we can work on IFM. But pretty much that page is just set up for exam P and FM right now, not IFM. But you can still join that way. Okay, Jonathan asks, so if I want to sit for the September 2020 exam, I wouldn't have to join the study strategy program today? Jonathan, no, you don't have to join if you want to write in September 2020, although the more time we have together, the better. That way you can take things at a slower pace. We have more time for review, and we can it's really beneficial to join with more than 14 weeks left, just because there's not as much pressure on you. Like you don't have to do things as quickly. You can do less studying each day. So I still would recommend joining the study strategy program today if you want to, but you would still qualify for the September pass guarantee if you join today as well. So I hope that answers your question. If not, put another one in and I will answer it. Okay. Oh, okay. So Jonathan said, I'd be able to qualify for the pass guarantee as long as I'm in the study strategy program for 14 weeks. Jonathan, yes, that is true. I have cutoff dates for each month. So the 14 weeks is basically calculated from the beginning of the exam window. So right now, today is 14 weeks from the very beginning of the July exam P window. So that's how I calculate your 14 weeks. If you were to join next week and take your exam in July, you wouldn't qualify for the pass guarantee. It's only if you join today for July. Okay, Evelyn asks, what's the difference between exam FM and exam IFM? And if we are suggested around 14 weeks of preparation for exam P and FM. How long for IFM? Okay, so IFM is basically a more advanced version of exam FM. So you're going to be using a lot of the same concepts that you learn on exam FM for your IFM exam. So but IFM is quite a bit more complex. I've had several members in the study strategy program take their exam IFM, and it just is more complex. It takes longer for them to get through the study material. They need more practice. So I really recommend at least 18 weeks if you're preparing for exam IFM. And if you want to join the study strategy program for IFM, you need to be in there for at least 18 weeks in order to qualify for the pass guarantee. Okay. Let me look on YouTube. Any questions? Okay, what happened? So what happens if you buy the 6 month and pass in July? So you can purchase the 6 month study strategy program bundle, and then we can use any of your remaining months that you don't use. We can use that towards future exams. So you can use it towards FM or exam IFM, or you can use it in my actuary job search program. So I didn't mention this to you guys before, but I actually have a program where I also help people get their first actuarial job or internship. So if you pass an exam and you want to use your remaining months for that program, we can do that as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay. Now, I don't see any more specifically related to the study strategy program. So let me really quickly go through this one more thing, and then I'll give you your complete guide or your complete exam P resource guide. I'm just going to actually share my screen with you. Unfortunately, those on YouTube will not be able to see it. I don't know how to share my screen there. Okay. Okay, so sometimes it's pretty difficult to understand how much value you're actually getting from the study strategy program, because when you're just learning all this stuff, you just don't know what's actually available out there for you and how it can benefit you. So I just really want to go through this quickly, and I'll read what's on the screen for anyone that's on YouTube. But so in a 6 month study strategy program bundle, you're going to get your very own personalized study schedule. You're going to get access to my Q&A forums where you can get any of your math related questions answered. And I forgot to mention the study schedule that you'll get. It is personalized, and it will be constantly updated for your specific situation. So I'll be monitoring how you're doing, and if I see that tasks need to be different on your schedule, then I'll go and adjust your schedule so it's specific for you and it's updated for you depending on your progress. Okay, so you get that, you get the Q&A forums, you get personalized guidance, advice, and those accountability check-ins. So like I said, anytime you're able to email me, ask for advice, any questions you have about your career or exams, your resume, anything like that, you can ask me. And we also do your 2 weekly accountability check-ins to help you stay motivated, to stay on track with your studying so you don't fall behind, and just keep you focused. And I forgot to mention before, there's also a WhatsApp group. We have a huge group of all the other members that are in the study strategy program right now. There are over 200 other people in the study strategy program studying for their exams right now. So you'll get access to that WhatsApp group where everyone's in there talking, helping each other. You'll also get access to the study sessions where everyone comes together, not everyone, but some members come together and they just study together. They help each other out on certain problems and stuff like that. And you also get the $250 pass guarantee. Okay, so I'm going to quantify all this for you now. Just hold on. Okay, so I sell study strategies alone sometimes just for $67. So that part alone is only $67, and that doesn't even include having all your updates and personal adjustments done to it. That's just a plain schedule, made one time. You'll get access to the Q&A forums, which are about $40 per month. In the past, I used to sell those for $40 each month, so that totals about $240 for 6 months. You're also going to get my personalized guidance and advice, like I told you. And this was hard to quantify, but what I decided to do is kind of make it equivalent to what you'd pay like a personal trainer for working out, something like that. So you would not go and just hire anyone off the street to help you improve your fitness and reach certain fitness goals. What you'd want is someone with proven results, someone that has lots of experience, someone that has a good education and knows what they're actually talking about. And to hire someone like that, it's not cheap. So, and also just to keep you motivated and all those check-ins and everything. So a personal trainer would charge about $100 per week. So in the study strategy program, if we calculate $100 per week, that's $2,400 of value just in that alone. The WhatsApp group, I have no idea how to quantify that, so that's some question marks. And the $250 pass guarantee is obviously $250. So if you add all that up, it is something. It's going to pop up. It is $2,957. But like I showed you, I'm not going to be charging you that. So for 6 months, it is $495 for all this personalized guidance and support on your exam. Or you can also join at $99 a month. That's another option. If you just want to like pay month to month, that's totally fine. You do not have to purchase the 6-month option, but it is available because by purchasing the 6-month option, you get 1 month for free. And yeah, that's just a good reason to get the 6-month option if that's interesting to you. Okay, so that's all about the study strategy program. I do have some quick testimonials because I know that if you're like me, you like to hear other people's experience in the program. So I threw a couple of those in here too. So Matt was a past member of the study strategy program. He says, as a career changer, I was very worried about these exams. So he was actually a career changer. He already had a daughter and a wife, and he was working 50 hours per week when he decided to join the study strategy program. So then he says, Brea helps so much with passing the exams. She gives you a great study plan and checks on you consistently to make sure you are understanding. She also gives you great resources for your questions. And with her study schedule and her help, he's been able to pass exam P, exam FM, and exam IFM all on his first try. Okay, that's one member. VEE is another member of the program. He says, Brea has helped me pass both exam P and FM within 5 months. Her study schedule held me accountable because I tend to procrastinate on my studies. So VEE is exactly like me because I was a procrastinator as well. If you procrastinate, you're going to love those accountability check-ins. They'll keep you on top of your studying and help you stay consistent. And he says before the study strategy program, he had failed exam P twice and exam FM once. So thanks to her, thanks to the study strategy program, he was able to pass both exams. And lastly, Mike here, he wrote an email. It wasn't a Facebook testimonial or a review, but he says he's happy to let me know that he passed his exam today. He feels great to finally get this one done. And what I really want to point out is just that he says he has helped the study strategy program has helped him to develop an amazing foundation for studying for these exams. So if you are taking exam P for the very first time, it's your very first actuarial exam, you're really going to have a really good foundation for how to prepare for your exams. So you can by joining the study strategy program, and you can take all the knowledge that you learn and apply it to your future exams. So even if you just want to join for your very first exam to get an understanding of how much work needs to go into studying, what you actually need to be doing, all the strategy behind it and all that kind of stuff, then the study strategy program is really good for you. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I hope it was beneficial. Let me see if I can get you guys back here. Stop sharing. And there. Okay, I think I'm back now. Okay, I would love to help you. I will put a link to the complete exam resource guide that I have for you with everything that we talked about. So I put that in the chat right now. You can go get that. I'll put it on YouTube as well. That make sure you get that right now because it's not going to be available anywhere else. It's just for people that attended today and stayed till now. So make sure you grab that. If you have any more questions, I will be sticking around and answering those. And really, I'd love to have you join the study strategy program. I know it will really help you get that foundation you need for your actuarial exams. It will help you pass. You'll get access to over 200 other people that are also going through this exact same journey with you. I have an amazing team that is so helpful. They are working on their exams right now too. So, but I've really helped them understand the process. They're great at answering questions. There's a Q&A forum and just everything you need to pass your exam is basically in here. It's really a mentorship program. You're going to get everything you need on this for this career. You just have to purchase your study materials and that's all. And then you're set. Okay. So I hope that you will decide to join, and I would love to have you. Remember, you have to be in the program join today if you want to qualify for the $250 pass guarantee, where I pay your next exam registration fee if you don't pass in the program. There's no other program out there that does anything like this. Usually they just give you continued access to their product or whatever, but I actually am deciding to pay your exam fee for you if you don't pass, and that's a huge $250, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be taking the rest right now. Okay, Shannon asks, where can we find the WhatsApp and study sessions link once we are a member? Shannon, I think you actually are a member already, if it's the Shannon I'm thinking about. Just joined recently, like earlier today. So the WhatsApp group and the links to the study sessions will be sent to you when you actually get your personalized study calendar or your personalized study workbook. So everyone in the program will get their own workbook. It's a Google Sheets workbook, so I can in there, make updates. You can see them in real time. And in that workbook, everyone will keep track of what tasks they've completed. I actually should have showed that to you guys really quickly. And I do want to, just to answer this question more effectively. Okay, let me share my screen with you again. And I'll show you how you can access those once you get your workbook, Shannon. Okay, so this is actually a workbook like someone would get in the study strategy program. It is just loading slowly right now for some reason. Okay, there we go. So you'll have your whole calendar laid out. You'll have specific tasks lined up for you every single day. And as you complete them, you can just mark them as complete like this. And that's how me and my team will know whether you've completed the tasks that we have assigned for you. And that's what we check when we do go into your workbook and do your accountability check-ins. So if you complete this task on Thursday, on this day, you just mark it as complete like that. And let's say for some reason on Friday, you can't get to that task, then you can just use your will do by like this. Let's say will do by Saturday. And that will tell me and my team that you're going to do that task. You're just going to do it the following day. So that's how we keep track of that's how we do your accountability check-ins. We look at this calendar and see what you've marked as complete. And also I can change these tasks in here if I think you need to be doing something different. But to answer your question, Shannon, when you get your own workbook like this, you're going to go into the important links tab. And we have a link right here to the WhatsApp group. So you can follow that to be able to access that. The study sessions, I actually send out an email about those each week when they're happening. The next sessions will be on Saturday, and I'll be sending out an email very shortly regarding those. Let me get back here, stop sharing. Okay, so that is answered. Nicole asks, I haven't made it through calculus on Khan Academy yet. Should I wait to join? So, Nicole, I think you're planning on taking your exam in July and you haven't gone through all the calculus, then honestly, I would recommend that you probably wait and to take it in September, July, yes, September. But just because that'll give you a little more time. Since all that calculus is very new and very fresh for you, you're probably going to find that it takes you a little bit longer to get through the study material and all that. So that's why I would recommend that if you don't really have a strong calculus background right now, that you give yourself a little more time to prepare, take the exam in September, then you're not feeling rushed and overwhelmed trying to keep up with all the calculus and all the other tasks that you have to be doing each day. So it's not, you can join right now. I can add calculus review into your study plan if you'd like. But I would highly recommend that you actually wait until and take your exam in September. But as always, like, this is very personalized to you. So if you want to try July, you can join the study strategy program, and then we'll just see how you're doing. We'll see if you're able to keep up with the tasks and if things are okay for you. We'll see how you do on the practice questions and all that stuff. So like I said, you can try for July, and then later on, once we see how you're doing, we can discuss whether maybe September seems more reasonable for you, depending on your current situation, how much time you're able to spend studying and all that. Okay, I will put another link in the chat to, oh, that is not the right link. The study strategy, did I send you guys the right link earlier? I don't know if I did. Anyway, I did, okay. That is the right link, the bottom one. That's where you can go to join the study strategy program and learn all the awesome benefits about it, and just sign up if you're considering writing your exam in July. And I do have a 14-day trial period too. If you decide that the program isn't right for you within 14 days, it's not a problem at all. You can just let me know, and I will give you 100% of your payment back. And actually, by joining now, sorry, I'll put that in the YouTube chat too. By joining now, I am going through those 8 weeks of live Excel and VBA training. So you're actually getting a huge bonus on top of all the other benefits of the study strategy program. The next Excel session is tomorrow. So if you join tonight, you'll get access to last week's session, which is very beginner Excel session. You can go through that, get caught up, and then join our next session, which is tomorrow. Okay, if you have any more questions, let me know. There are a few more left here in the Q&A section. And after that, we will be done for tonight. Lewis asks, what are the most challenging topics and aspects of Exam P? So really what I find for most people is just getting over the calculus. That seems to be the most difficult for most people. If you have a strong calculus background, then you're likely going to just find that the material makes more sense to you, and you'll just be able to get through the material quicker and all that kind of stuff. Another big challenge that people run into is just the time limit. So no, this isn't related specifically to the topics on the exam, but the time limit is, for Exam P, I said earlier that you have to get done in 3 hours. You have to answer 30 questions. That means that you have about 6 minutes per question. And just beating that time limit, that 6 minutes per question, it's very difficult to get down to that, to know the material so well that you're able to answer questions in 6 minutes is really what challenges a lot of people. But that's why in the study strategy program, I have people do lots and lots of practice exams. I monitor how they're doing on those exams and add other tasks into their study strategy and their study plan so that they are constantly improving and doing better. Okay, next question is a VEE related question. So the VEEs are certain other requirements that the Society of Actuaries requires that you meet in order to become an ASA or an associate of the Society of Actuaries. Couldn't think of the right word there. So you have to pass these, or you have to get these VEE credits in order to be a fully qualified actuary. And Terry asks, what is the best time to do the VEE courses and what resources do I recommend? So Terry Ann, if you have not passed exam P, FM, and IFM, I would not bother working on the VEE courses right now. That's my personal recommendation. Other people may say different, but really, I would suggest getting those 3 exams passed. That allows you to make sure that you're actually able to pass actuarial exams. And you can even, with 3 exams, you should be in a pretty good place to get a job, assuming you have some other experience and all that kind of stuff. Exams will help you get jobs. VEE credits will not help you get jobs. So work on your VEE credits later, once you have a job, or once those are one of the last requirements that you need to meet, or while you're in between exams and want to fill some time up, do the VEE courses then. Right now, focus on passing exams. That's what's going to get you jobs. That's what's going to make employers interested in you, as well as also getting related experience is very beneficial as well. So don't worry about VEE courses if you haven't already passed exam P, FM, and IFM. That is my opinion. And Terry Ann, for resources, there are quite a few different ones out there. You actually can get credit for the VEE course. Okay, you can get credit for the VEE requirements by taking certain courses in school. If you get a certain grade in certain courses and stuff, you can do it that way. Or there are other programs offered through, I think Actex has one, maybe Coaching Actuaries or TAA has one too, where you can take a course through them and they'll have an exam at the end that you have to pass in order to get that VEE credit. So any of those will be good. Just check around. I actually don't have much experience with the VE courses because I didn't take any. I met the requirements through my schooling, so I didn't take any of those courses. And really, members of the study strategy program, they're focused on passing their exams, not the VEEs right now. So I do not have a whole lot of experience with those. But I'd say it's safe to say that you can trust like an Agtex course or a Coaching Actuaries course or a TIA course for those VE credits if they have any available. Okay. Evelyn asks, is there anywhere that we can get more sample questions as preparation? Evelyn, in the complete exam resource guide that I put for you guys, there is a list at the bottom of all the free resources that I know of for exam P. For exam P. So go there. There'll be lots of sample questions you can check out there. Okay, any on YouTube? Okay, I do not see any more questions. Okay, so that is all for today. I really hope this was beneficial. I hope you learned what you need to do to prepare for your exam, what materials you should get, calculators you should get, and how to properly prepare yourself for the exam. If you're planning to write in July or you would like to take your exam in July, make sure you join the study strategy program tonight so that you qualify for that $250 pass guarantee. And I just know you'll love the study strategy program community. They're so supportive. They're always in that WhatsApp group talking to each other. The study sessions go really well. A lot of people they really learn from those because they're actually able to ask questions on the spot and help each other. And even just explaining things to each other helps other people learn the concepts better themselves. So yeah, you're going to get all that, the pass guarantee, the personal mentorship from me, and what else? The accountability is a huge factor for passing your exam. Okay, so I really would love to have you join. Check it out. I will put a link one more time in the chat area for you to browse and just see if it would be a good fit for you. Like I said, 14-day trial period. You can basically try it, and if you don't like it, get all your money back. So there's no harm in trying it for 14 days, okay? All right, that is all. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope it was helpful. Bye.